So, whether you have the full prepper pantry that's a whole bedroom in your basement, or if you just have a closet in the hallway or some other makeshift space carved out in your home, stocking your pantry and knowing what it should have ready for you is a skill most of us are never taught. But it matters what's in your pantry. Hi, I'm Misty Winckler, homemaker, homeschool mom of 5, and author of the book Simplified Organization: Learn to Love What Must Be Done. And I'm a big believer in pantry cooking. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Grab a basket of laundry to fold and let's dig in. So, no matter what kind of pantry space you have, stuff takes up space in that pantry and you have to manage it. So, we don't want to waste the pantry space that we have with items that we don't use. An organized pantry is about so much more than just a pantry full of organized and labeled containers that looks super cute on Pinterest or Instagram. If it doesn't have food that we will be using to make dinner or breakfast or lunch to feed our family, then it's doing us no good. Better to have a pantry that has the items that we need in it than to have a super cute pantry that's not actually useful for what it's supposed to be doing. What is a pantry supposed to be doing? I like to think of a pantry as almost an intermediate step between cooking dinner and grocery shopping. To be efficient home managers, we don't want to be grocery shopping just before cooking every single meal, right? That would be very inefficient. That would make everything take so much extra time to decide what we're going to make and then see that we don't have what we need, or to just assume, well, this whole project starts with a grocery shopping trip. Instead, we want to grocery shop for the items that we'll need for a while, and then cook from those items that we purchased at the grocery store before. And at some level, we're probably doing that already. We want to use what we have on hand, but so often we don't. We end up choosing for our menu plan something that has an item that we don't usually use, but it's on our menu plan. So we buy the ingredient, we use half of it, and then stick the rest in our pantry or in the fridge until it's sat there long enough that we have an excuse to throw it away because maybe that dinner wasn't a hit, or we just forget that we have it because it's not normal for us to use it. And so then our pantry kind of becomes a cluttered storage room of half-used goods. And that's not the best way to use a pantry space, no matter how much or how little pantry space you have. One way that I went about solving this problem and keeping a decluttered, effective, usable pantry is to start by looking at what we usually have for dinner. And what I found is that even though we have all kinds of different things that we eat for dinner, there's a common ground of ingredients. Multiple of the dinners that we eat use pasta. So I need to have pasta in my pantry. We eat rice, so rice should be in my pantry. We use Johnny's seasoning salt, kosher salt, apple cider vinegar, better than bouillon, different seasoning and spices. And what I ended up doing is finding all those common element ingredients and putting them on a list. These are the items that I should have on hand. And so then I don't really have to plan my grocery shopping after making the meal plan when I meal plan making a grocery list. Instead, I'm choosing dinners from our family favorites that I talked about in the last video. I'm choosing dinners from my meal strategy. And then I already know that I have the ingredients for that because those are items that I keep in my pantry, in my fridge, in my freezer. So I can pull those things out as I need. Then when it comes time to grocery shop, all I'm doing is replacing items that have been used. I'm looking into the pantry and saying, oh, the sugar is low. Someone opened the last mayonnaise. I don't see an extra bottle of mustard. Whatever is, I'm looking into the pantry and filling out my grocery list from what I see there. And of course, the fridge as well. And then I'm also buying whatever meat is on sale. But I already know that for the most part, we use chicken, we use ground beef, we use pork roast, we use beef roast. And so I'm looking at the same kinds of cuts and buying what's on sale. And I know that no matter what meat I buy, I have ingredients on hand to turn them into a dinner. And I have my list of ideas for how to turn them into a dinner. And so that whole swirl of trying to make the recipe and menu plan and grocery trip and ingredients on hand all work together in some kind of magical mixture is gone. It's fast to make my menu plan because I'm doing it for my meal strategy. I already know what I use, and at this point, I'm practiced. And although my pantry has gone through multiple iterations over the years for sure, the same foundational pieces are there. And so that's just what I buy when I go to the grocery store. I also do like to keep a plan B meal or two in my back pocket on my meal strategy. And then that means I need to have those plan B ingredients on hand, like Costco frozen meatballs and rice with a cream sauce. I can have those items on hand and I can use them when I need them, but none of them are going to go bad. And I also use those ingredients for other things too. So it's not like they're just waiting there until, we have some dinner catastrophe and I have to rely on my go-to plan B dinner. Having a stocked pantry that you've thought through and made to work with your strategy is so helpful. And any steps that you take toward getting there are going to give you payoff. It doesn't have to be perfect to be helpful. So just try decluttering your pantry a little bit. Maybe make your own master pantry list. But if you want some help in just having a place to start with a streamlined basics pantry list, you can get the freebie for this episode. Just go to the show notes or simplyconvivial.com/pantry to find those show notes and get the download with a master pantry list and a way to make a streamlined, easy meal plan strategy. And then once you have your stocked pantry and your meal strategy, how do you go about knowing what's for dinner tonight? What does that kind of menu planning simplified look like? That's what we're talking about next time right here. So stay tuned to the next video where we're going to talk about going from strategy and pantry and grocery shopping to knowing what's for dinner.